fill up. Victory! Victory! Hey, I know it, I know it, I know it. I know y'all feeling it, baby. I'm feeling it. Ha! Let's go. And we're here. Live like 95. Post-game show. Reaction. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Feel it, right? Let's go. We the kings of the East. Everybody looking up. Shout out to y'all, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. I know you feel it. Let's run through that wall, baby.
Yeah, and again, we kept the score down for the most part. You know, our defense did a good job for the most part in this game. Whenever you control a running attack like that and a running back like that, as well as we did over the course of the game, that's good defensive football. But again, we're always going against a very high standard and wanting to play our optimum. And there were some plays early on in the game that we'd like to have back, but hopefully you learn from and you keep moving on. I liked how our team was tough. Mentally, when you're on the road against a division opponent and things aren't going great early, you just keep playing. And I thought our guys did that, and eventually the momentum swung. We played the game the way we wanted to play it.
We had a long field goal drive. We got the lead from 7 to 10, and it was all Pollard the whole drive. Is that something by design? You're just going to give him a possession no matter how long it lasts, as long as it's...
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we mixed him into the ball game. You know, Zeke was going to play more. He played a lot of snaps in this game. We gave him the ball a lot. That was by design, but we also wanted to make sure Pollard played. And he's done a good job for us. He's worthy of that opportunity, and we felt like on a day like this that Zeke needed a little break here and there. And to put a guy like that in there that we have confidence in is big for our team.
Was this the script you guys had after the start, where you're able to get a lead and then Zeke gets the ball in the fourth quarter and you're able to run it out? Is that kind of the MO you guys?
Yeah, we want to be a balanced attack offensively. We want to be able to attack by running the football and by throwing it, and attack different ways in each. So, whenever you can control the line of scrimmage like we have and hopefully score some points early on, now's the time to end the game with the running game. And it was interesting that the first play of the game was actually the same as the play that we ran the last play of the game. We ran it from a different look, but it's an old school football play. It's lead week, and to be able to control the line of scrimmage and hand it to our running back in a play like that, that's important. And that's how we built this team, and I thought that showed up today.
Division game rivalry. If you look out in the stands, and here you are on the road, a lot of blue shirts. I mean, can you talk about the boost that you get, especially coming into a rival stadium like that?
Yeah, we have a great fan base. We're so appreciative of our fans that we have in Dallas, all throughout Texas, and really all across the country. And we take great pride in playing as well as we can play, preparing the right way and playing the right way, because we have such great support everywhere we go.
We've always wanted to be a very democratic offense, and a lot of people get shots. Just another example of everyone kind of capitalizing today when the ball came their way.
Yeah, again, attack different ways. Everybody's viable. Everybody's alive. It starts with the guys protecting up front and then the quarterback making great decisions. But, you know, you want to be able to feature certain guys in your offense, but you also want to be able to say, hey, I'll throw it to this guy. If he's open, let's give him a chance. And I thought that showed up this week. That showed up last week. And when you're doing that, it became a really difficult offense to stop.
You look like it's one sack in 2 games. Travis has been back for these 2 games. Any correlation to that at all?
Yeah, he's a really good football player, obviously, and solidifies the interior of our offensive line, not only in the running game but in the passing game. And, you know, our guys have been healthy up front. They're playing at a very high level. The other part of it is guys are getting open on the other side of it. The ball's coming out. And it's not like the quarterback doesn't have places to go with the football. We have a number of guys at receiver who can win. We have tight ends who can win. We have backs who can win. And, again, Dak's making really good decisions and getting the ball out of his hand. Hurt his knee, so we'll see what it is. He was not able to come back in the game.
And then Tyrone, I think, did sit back.
Yeah, still working through that.
And with Byron, you got him in the starting lineup and played. Looked like a normal day for him.
Yeah, he was going to play more this week. We wanted him to start and then just really watch him. And I think for the most part he played throughout the ball game. We feel really good about all those guys we have in the back end, but he's certainly one of our better players and want to get him back in action.
Written touchdown streak, something you'd like to
Yeah, how about that? Witt's doing a great job. Again, Dak made a really good decision. That's where the ball is going to go against that look. And those guys executed it really well. It's fun to see him get in the end zone. All right, good to see you guys.
There's Jason Garrett, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, on another victory. The Cowboys beat the Washington Redskins 31-21. By the way, I mentioned before, Garrett, that 7 touchdowns to 1 field goal so far this season. It's 9. I shortchanged the Cowboys 2 touchdowns. 9 touchdowns to just 1 field goal. And 1 field goal attempted. The times have changed. More on the Dallas Cowboys postgame show.
So Dak Prescott only missed 4 passes, not 3, not 10, only 4, and that was a good number because the power of 4, right? So he only had incompletions of 4 incompletions. So that's good. Dak Prescott is earning his keep. He's earning everything you can imagine. He's doing his deal out there, and I love what I'm seeing, Cowboy Nation. It's crazy. Need your help. Anybody that's listening to 105.3 The Fan, let me know so I can flip back and forward. But my thoughts of the game. Let me give you guys this thoughts right quick. For those who are witnessing me going live on this thing, and there was a lot of people saying, hey, the sky is falling, the team look horrible, and these sorts of things. It goes back to show you that you still got to take this thing one play at a time, inch by inch, and brick by brick. Everything will work its way out. Now, I do know that we will have reservations as it relates to this defense. This defense still got to work on some things. We'll be foolish to say otherwise, right? We can see with our eyes that this defense needs to improve on certain categories. But I will say this again. This team is looking more sharper as it relates to the offensive side of the ball. Although we put up 400 yards, I think that we just ramp up everything when we play at home. We becoming a home team. Now, on the road, when you put up 31 points, that's something remarkable. Still, when you're playing on the road against a division foe, you can't really make this stuff up when you start looking at the total complexity of the game. I will say this, though. I just didn't like the way we kind of laid down a little bit towards the latter part of the game. We're going to have to brush up on that. That's just the reality of it. I just hope and I pray that we can get things going in a better light down the line. Any word on Gallup? He have bruised legs. I hope that he can shake it off, put a little dirt on it. I got some Mississippi mud somewhere close by that we can try to rub some of that on him. But it's looking good so far. I don't see if anybody can have a case nor a scenario saying don't pay Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is earning everything he can find.
Dallas Cowboys Pepsi postgame show.
Yeah, so let me know how you all feel. Gallup is fine. This is from Craig. Well, that's good. And then on top of that, what he had 3 touchdowns, interception. Hey, it could have been like this if the ball wasn't tipped and if Dak Prescott went with his first mind to go ahead and run it with those Mississippi State legs. Oh, my goodness. But 7 touchdowns in his first 2 games, that's something special. And somebody may be getting their wishes of him throwing over 4,000 yards this year. Yeah. Let's see.
The sleep number.
Law, this is from Ford Confidence. This is Robert. we got strong confidence now. We do. I love the play calling. It don't look stagnant. At least we looking like that. It was one play that really stood out to me. Number 15, it was like a little slant. It was a back shoulder, like a back misdirectional slant. And I love every bit of it. I'd never seen that play before in my life. And I'm thinking that that's old brilliancies of Kellen Moore. Let's listen back into what they have to say.
Right here on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, along with RJ Choppy. I am Ari Temkin. Cowboys beat the Redskins.
Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. We listen to 105.3 The Fan. You guys can follow along by going to 105.3 The Fan website.
Dak Prescott thoroughly dominated. The Cowboys, as we've mentioned, scored their 9th touchdown of the season in this game. 9 to go along with just 1 field goal attempted and 1 field goal made. Choppy, the Cowboys went until the 6th game of the season last year to score 9 offensive touchdowns.
Wow.
And that was the Jacksonville game.
That's 4.5 TDs a game. I'm not a math whiz, but I know that. I could do that one. You score 4.5 touchdowns a game. My gosh, the offense is rolling. They don't have a shutdown defense at this point. They do have a shutdown offense, though.
Yes.
This offense will shut another team down. It will put so much pressure on them to have to score every single time down the field. You have to love this. This is, look, I'm not going to overreact and say, oh my God, this is Chiefs-esque, because it's not. All right, it's not Patriots-esque. It's not, 04 Colts. It's, but it's a good offense, man. It's a really good offense right now. They are clicking.
It's the start of being Chiefs-esque.
Wait a minute, Chiefs.
It's really not.
Chiefs look like they're struggling right now.
No, it doesn't have to be.
Right.
What did the Chiefs do last year? They went to the AFC Championship game. They lost a home game. The playoffs.
Right, but you score 30 points a game in the NFL, or you're close there.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a lot of football games.
You're going to win a lot of football games.
And the Cowboys were bottom 4th, and then basically in the middle of the pack once they traded for Amari Cooper in terms of scoring offense last year. So the first 2 games, again, albeit against bad opponents, but this is what you're supposed to do, and you're doing it. It's not just about the scoring. It's about what we're seeing that leads to the scoring. Devin Smith, you heard the highlight earlier. 3 receptions, 74 yards, a touchdown. Devin Smith, former second-round pick of the New York Jets, suffered an ACL tear in consecutive years to the same knee. Signed a rookie free agent deal with the Cowboys with nothing guaranteed. Came out of nowhere to make this team, and cashes in a 51-yard touchdown pass from Dak Prescott. It was the first touchdown for Devin Smith in an NFL game since November of 2015. It was the first multi-reception game in the NFL for Devin Smith since 2015. And Dak Prescott, through 2 games, his completion percentage is through the roof. Almost 700 yards passing, 674, 7 touchdowns, and 1 interception. A perfect start, a near perfect start to the season for a guy that's looking for a long-term extension in Dak Prescott. One that is coming, as we've stated. This is a guy, Chop, that is going to be with the Cowboys for the foreseeable future. The only question is, when does he get that extension, and what's the number 4? And Pam Oliver, during the broadcast, had an interesting quote from Dak Prescott. So Pam Oliver was on with us in the pregame show, Chop, and said she was going to have some kind of a revelation.
Yeah, I wish she would have just hinted at and given us something.
Yeah, no kidding. She saved it for the game, and the quote was, quote, he said, when all is said and done, he does not necessarily expect to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, an answer that may cause his agent to choke on his cell phone. Prescott said, I've never played for money. It's not what makes me happy. He went on to say he doesn't think he can ask for those kinds of riches if he hasn't won a Super Bowl. He said his goal is to be the best player ever. Of course, he wants to attain that status as a Dallas Cowboy. That is from Pam Oliver during the game.
Let's just break that down a little bit first. I don't know if it's physically possible to swallow a 2019 cell phone. Maybe one of those flip phones that you had back like in the early 04, 05 era. But the current cell phone, no.
Let me elaborate on this. We love Dak Prescott, and we know that he's a Cowboys fan. I love hearing that.
Look, that's nice of Dak to say. I don't have to be the highest paid because he knows he's probably not going to be the highest paid. I don't think that's going to be the case. He's not going to get 30. He's not going to get more than Russell got. All right.
True.
And Mahomes is going to eclipse that at some point, and there's probably going to be some more guys down there to do the same. But at the same time, there are plenty of guys who get paid that don't win and that haven't won.
We'll hear from Dak Prescott in a moment at the podium. The postgame show brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
I will say this, though, Cowboy Nation. I'm looking at the game. Pat Mahomes looked very humanish, against the Raiders without his boy, Tyreek Hill. So I'm just putting it out there. It's still early. The score is 3-0. Kansas City Chiefs are down. But I will say this, too. Guys, I have to say this. Dak Prescott to the future. For him to not want that amount of money, saying, I don't want to be the highest paid quarterback. And remember the stipulation for the nation. When I say this, I have to bring home and I have to shed light upon you all, is that Dak Prescott sometimes as a quarterback, when you not get your first money, right? He's making $50 million out of endorsements. I'm not trying to cut him short, but what I'm saying is that sometimes as a quarterback, when you're throwing in these type of numbers, they do have a players union. And they probably go to Dak Prescott and say, hey, if you want to take this lowball money, then you might hurt the other contemporaries. You might hurt your other people that play with the uniform, with the NFL, under the NFL shield. So his people might be saying that, okay, although you don't want the biggest contract, but it may hurt the collective picture. Only Tom Brady can take less money and get paid under the table, right? Dak to the future. This is Devon. Yes, Victor says paid Dak. Look, Dak, when the running game wasn't there, he ran it with his legs. And when they tried to stop him from running, he threw the ball. And then on top of that, you add in the fact that Ezekiel Elliott got his yards, 111 yards with 1 touchdown, 4.8 per carry. He still did his deal. Although it was a slow, rough, and rugged game, Ezekiel Elliott did his. But I do know that the football elite's going to say that Dak Prescott couldn't have done this without Ezekiel. And I'm going to repeat. Dak probably would have had the same game, even if Ezekiel Elliott was there or not. That's just the reality of it. But I do like the fact that it's a balanced team, and I like the fact that we throwing in new wrinkles, and we got Ezekiel Elliott paid. We got all our guys who played on the offensive line. We just got to figure out how to pay Dak Prescott. That's just the bottom line. And I love what we're seeing with the growth factor with everything else. So it goes to show you, man. And I want to see a little bit more out of Byron Jones. He had an interception in his hands. It fell off. He needed that because now everybody looking at Byron Jones saying, you allowed this rookie to score a touchdown on you. You allowed this to happen on you. We do know this the first game back, but we want to see more out of your production, Byron. So hopefully next week we'll see something. We'll see something out of the defense. Pollard will take the yes, indeed. Play calling, yeah. Look, the Wiz kid out there, he's doing his job, man, and they like what they're seeing from here. And it's just one of those things. The Raiders looking like they moving the ball a little bit. The Raiders moving the ball. They finna score. They finna be up 10-0 on the Chiefs. It's gonna be crazy.
Not bad.
Not a bad start. 2-0's good. And based on what we know at the back end of the season and what we saw at the beginning of the schedule, RJ Choppy, this is what they were supposed to be. They were supposed to be 2-0 with a game against the Miami Dolphins, who got absolutely demolished, as we expected, to the New England Patriots this week.
What was the
start
score?
To a historic low 0-2.
What's the score?
So an opportunity next week against Miami to go start 3-0. Wait for Dak Prescott in a moment. But the offense continues to be the story. RJ Choppy, the Cowboys beat the Washington Redskins 31-21 and start the season 2-0.
Great start. Now, the last time they started 2-0, as was pointed out to me today, they finished 4-12. But there was the Romo. I think there was an injury there that year. May have had something to do with it. It's 2015.
43-0? No way. Minkah Fitzpatrick, come on over to Big D. I was looking for a blowout, but man, 43-0.
To have this start to the season was something that we all expected. At least I did. Look at the schedule. That's the thing. Find the schedule. The schedule, as I don't want to say as much as the talent, but it's a factor. The schedule dictates who goes to the postseason an awful lot in the NFL.
No, I don't.
More so
I'll bargain
than it probably should. Right. That's
probably
what it is.
The reason there's such a high rate of turnover for playoff teams.
Yeah, it's by design. It's designed to do that. Okay? And the schedule for the Cowboys starts off very manageable and finishes very difficult.
We lead in the division.
You'll see this. You have to win the games you're supposed to win. Otherwise, you got to steal a game that is a scheduled loss in there. So maybe it's a road game on a Thursday night that everyone's going to have to deal with at some point. The Cowboys don't really deal with short weeks on the road. In fact, they just don't because of their home Thursday Thanksgiving game. Their next game is always a week later on a Thursday. It's not a short week. But this is a team that had to navigate the early portion of this schedule in such a way that they were going to be able to manage the back half when it gets a little bit more tough.
The obvious criticisms, RJ, will be the defense.
10-0.
Mm-hmm. Last week, they gave up 17 points, and people were worried about the defense.
They gave up a lot of yards. They didn't give a lot of points last week.
Right,
17 points. In today's NFL, you should win when you give up 17 points.
21 also.
Absolutely.
And so that's, I think the ultimate point here is that good offense is going to beat good defense 9 times out of 10 in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And I do wonder, though, with this high-powered passing offense, if the correlation there is you're now putting your defense on the field more, you're giving up more yardage, and therefore you're going to inevitably give up more points than what people expect. People expect this defense to be top 5 in terms of scoring and not giving up tons of points. But when your offense is scoring at the level that the Cowboys' offense is, and with the quickness at times that their offense is, your defense is going to be in the field more, which could in turn lead to more points. I'm not worried about this defense. Are you?
No, I'm not worried about the defense. No. I'm not worried about the defense at all. I'm not worried. I also don't think the defense is going to be remotely close to what it was last year. I just don't think it's going to be a problem. Defense, the Bears we're going to find this out about the Bears. Is their defense going to carry over or not? Who knows? I don't think the Cowboys defense is going to carry over the same that it was last year. Last year was at a pretty elite level. And I don't think that's really going to happen this year just because defense doesn't do that. But I don't think the defense is going to be a crutch. It's not going to be a problem for this team. They'll be fine. They'll be able to win games whether or not their defense is amazing or not because their offense is going to be what wins the games for them.
We'll hear from Dak Prescott in a moment, who again had some very interesting things to say to Pam Oliver, which she mentioned in the game. We'll hear those comments in a moment, plus Dak Prescott coming up. When it comes time to shop for tailgate.
Y'all let me know when when Dak Prescott press conference come back on. My thing is, Cowboy Nation, we got to look at it from these angles too. Everybody was talking about, hey, the defense. Let the offense catch up with the defense. It seems as if though in one offseason, this offense done caught up with the defense, and now we got to give time for the defense to gel. Meaning that we're missing a lot of weapons on our defense right now. We're missing the Randy. We're missing also Robert Quinn. We're missing some key components of the defensive side of the ball. Byron Jones didn't play all preseason because he had the hip pointer. So I'm going to give, and then Tyron Crawford, he didn't play all preseason. And D-Law, we saw him knock off a little rust here. But the mentality still need to be the same. We still need to have that dog mentality. But I'm looking at this team collectively that we probably can step up some things if everybody can gel together. And this will be a good game for us to display next week. It's a home game. It's not a trap game. I don't want to hear none of this trap stuff. Because if we are made out of what we thought we made out of, then this game, next week, we show the world that we are not to be played with. You can't mess with us. We're going to put you in the dirt. We're going to put you in the ground. And we ain't going to leave you an alleyway to get out of it. That's how I want this particular team to look next week. It's a home game. We should be comfortable. We are a turf team, regardless of how everybody look at it, because I think the Randall Cobb runs a little bit faster on turf versus that grass or what have you. And shout out to Randall Cobb. He had a great game. Honesty, the ball bouncing off his body and hand like a volleyball. But outside of that, Cowboy Nation, I like what I'm seeing. I do. And bring in Robert Quinn slowly. And then somebody need help with paperwork for Randy Gregory. If he need help filling out the paperwork, then call Law. Call me. I didn't get an A+ out of English. I got a B+. I think that will make it in the world, right? I'm an okay writer. Somebody need to help Randy Gregory out so he can make sure that he can get back out here this year. Somebody need to push this Dallas Cowboys local media and shoot out tweets to Mike Fisher, Brian Broaddus, and everybody at ESPN, at Dallas Cowboys, and ask them, what's going on with Randy Gregory? That's what we want to know. Let me know if you guys are listening in, whether or not they're back live.
And he was great just to see him get out there, put the boosters on, just threw the ball out there, and he just went under, and it was great. Happy for a guy like that who's had a great camp, obviously done a really good job up to this point, and now he's just going to help us out. And as you said, he's got some speed. He can do a lot of things, and he's going to be a big help to this offense.
Sounds like you did. It looks like you did more though with him, like later in the game, slants over the middle, like he's kind of progressing as an all-around receiver.
I never said he was one type of receiver. I feel like he's a great receiver. He can go do it all. That was the reason he made this team, and he'll be able to continue to help us out across the middle, slants, yards after catch, stretch the defense. So, I mean, that play wasn't necessarily, hey, let's put Dev in to go throw this play. That was just him coming in for, I think, Gallup at the time, who was taking a breather, and he got open, and it became his play.
How much do you know his story with the knees, the ACLs, and all
that? Yeah, I mean, obviously him being a college teammate with Zeke. Zeke informed me a little bit, and then as you get to know a teammate and talking to him, it's an inspiration. I mean, obviously injuries happen, and injuries can hurt careers and sometimes derail them, and people are never can bounce back. But in this case, you found a guy that this offseason, this training camp, this preseason, who really got his confidence back. Forgot about those injuries, forgot about all those things and reasons that maybe he couldn't do it. And he's here, and he's going to help this team, and he's going to be great for us. And he's an inspiration to many athletes that may get injured.
It's a small sample size, but you had these 2 games here. But you were talking, you started to see the game a little bit differently last year. Is this the best stretch you've had in the NFL as far as being able to decisively execute what it is you want to do?
I mean, yeah, sure. And I give credit again going back to last year. I mean, I think it happened last year and started last year, and I was just being able to take that and progress through the offseason and learn more. And obviously it's great coaching from Kellen, from Kit, Coach Garrett. And as I said before, when you have great players around you, it just makes the thing fun, makes it a little bit easier in that standpoint.
Did Tyrone Sack do anything for the offense? Right before that 97-yard drive, he comes up with a big stop.
Right. Yeah, sure, of course. I mean, momentum's huge. Momentum is one of the biggest things in this game, and at that point, we needed it. As I said, an interception, just offense bogging out, not getting anything going, and they're pretty much right there on the fringe of a couple of more yards. They're kicking a field goal, and they're still on top of us. But defense comes up, as you said. Crawford makes a big-time sack, and they punt it away. And as we talk about on offense, in the huddle when you're backed up in those situations, it's being discussed. Hey, we've done this before. I think it was Trav or Zach or one of those guys said it. We're used to going 90 yards. Let's go do it. And it's about focusing one play at a time, and we're able to go out there and do exactly that and get it going.
What are you thinking on the zone read, the 42-yard run, in terms of your decision-making there and the hole getting up for you?
Yeah, I mean, defensive end crashed hard. That's my read, just to pull the ball, and great block from Cobb there, and just allowed me to get going. And at that point, yeah, I was just getting as much as I could.
Could you slow down to let Gallup try to get a guy for you?
Yeah, I mean, that was a little caught in between of indecisiveness right there. I wanted to let Gallup obviously get in front of me and block Norman, but then again, I feel like I was going to have to slow down too much. I'm not the fastest, so I didn't know what was behind me or what was coming up behind me. And at that point, I just was going for the stiff one.
You said you would have scored if you just kept rolling.
Yeah, I love my teammates. You know, they have all the belief in me. I don't know if my speed does. I don't know if I do or not. So at that point, I was going for the stiff form, hoping that I could stiff form him at the same time. Gallup pushed him, and it looked that much better. But it didn't work out. It was a big play, great play for the offense.
We had a 5-minute scoring drive without Zeke. It was all Pollard and Jarwin and Cobb. What was that like? What was the confidence like on that drive?
I mean, that's credit the whole training camp and all the time that I've talked about of not having Zeke and how that was going to help this offense, honestly. Nobody blinks. Nobody worries about anything. We've got a lot of guys that can come in and make plays. I mean, as you just said it, Jarwin, Pollard, Devin, Cedric, guys that are coming in and taking advantage of this opportunity and wanting their opportunity and making the most of it. When you have that spirit, when you have that attitude from those guys coming in, nothing slows down. You don't blink because, hey, this guy's not in. You continue to run the offense and just do your individual job and allow the offense to come together.
You had 9 touchdowns, I think, to this point. You didn't do that until the second quarter of Week 6 last year. Does that just reinforce the changes you've made in the offseason and different things you're doing or working?
Yeah, I mean, last year was a long time ago. There was things there. I remember we had problems communication on the road, different things and different aspects that hindered that. But we're focused on now. We're focused on the things that we can do better. And And we're going to continue to grow in that standpoint. You would say whatever touchdowns you'd say, I bet if you ask all those guys in that or on this team, on this offense, they say it's not enough. So just a hungry bunch of guys, great athletes that all care for one another, that are coming in, enjoying this time each and every day that we're putting into this offense, we're putting into this team, and this is going to pay off.
It's a little bit of a last year question too, but you talked about the sacks were an issue that you really looked at to correct yourself. It's only 1 in 2 games.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your production?
Yeah, and that was 100% my fault tonight. Just said that to the offensive line. A couple of guys in there that was my fault once again. I mean, they just keep doing a great job, and they're continue to do that all year long. And it's everybody playing together. It's guys getting open, so the offensive line doesn't have to block all day long. It's me making good decisions, anticipating things, getting out of my hand. And right there, I just think that one sack tonight, I think the defensive line, offensive line kind of blinded where I wanted to throw it. I know the coverage. I've got to trust it and throw it. Wasn't a great play by me trying to make something happen. Obviously, I didn't. So it should be 0 sacks, and the offensive line's continue doing a great job.
Last week, Josh Norman basically said he wasn't impressed by what you did the first week, and I was just wondering if that was any extra motivation for you, if you even heard it or if you even cared.
I mean, yeah, sure, I heard it, but
Yeah.
no, I'm not gonna allow him to be a motivation to me. I've got enough things that motivate me. They get me going. And what somebody says, good or bad, about me, definitely isn't the case, especially when he's not on this team. So, no.
Did you feel, beyond him though, did you feel there's Landon Collins before and others, there's kind of been a sense of, well, stop Elliott, put the ball in Dak's hands, and let's see how this plays out?
I mean, is it just them two? I mean, let's be honest. So I can't say I credit anybody for that. I mean, that's a chip on my shoulder, and that's been there since I've been playing this game for a long time. Always been doubted, always accepted, and that's who I am. So, I mean, yeah, of course that's there, but I'm not going to give credit to one individual.
Jerry was saying in there, this is the best you played this 2-game stretch for the Cowboys, but he didn't know if you had better games at Mississippi State. Anything come to your mind?
I'm focused in the now. I don't know. I mean, obviously we made a good run there at Mississippi State. I'm sure I had some good games and some things there, but at this point it's about turning the page. And as I said, I mean, I'm not going to sit on what we've done at this point. Now it's what we can do to get better and to have a better performance as an offense going into week 3.
Along the lines of the pass protection you talked about with Travis back there, how has that impacted those guys?
It's huge. He's one of the smartest guys in football. As I've said before, I'll continue to say, when you have a guy like that orchestrating the offense, getting the IDs, making the points in the run game, just allows everyone to play a whole lot faster, allows us to be downhill on that tempo, and a lot of credit to him for that. Thankful to have him back and glad he's healthy and playing well.
Dak, can you talk about what Brandon Cobb has brought to this team since signing him?
Yeah, I mean, great leadership, veteran receiver. I mean, a quarterback pretty much playing receiver, a guy that knows the defense, a guy that takes a lot of pride in his job, no matter if it's run blocking, no matter if it's clearing out a defender so a guy can come right in behind him in that voided zone and make a catch. Selfless player that everybody is, I promise you, on this team is thankful to have. He's a great teammate and he's a great football player. He makes us all better.
Thanks, guys.
They appreciate it.
There's Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott through 2 games, 51 of 62. That's an 82% completion percentage, 674, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. Also 9 rushes for 81 yards.
You see his yards per carry today? It was like 13 and a half. Just
9 yards per carry on 9 carries so far this year, and 9 incompletions total. 9 incompletions, 7 touchdowns through 2 games this season for Dak Prescott.
That's good stuff.
Not a bad start.
Good
So when will he
stuff.
get paid? Try to figure that out. Plus, your comments, your calls, 877-881-1053. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys radio now.
Hey, they better watch out. That price tag is going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Yes. It's crazy now. My guy, Augustine, says he had a conversation with a few fellows in the barbershop, and everybody was saying, kind of like 2-3 years ago, they were saying, who would you rather prefer, Dak Prescott or Cam Newton? And everybody said, shoot, Dak Prescott is trash. Dak Prescott is this. Dak Prescott is that. And he's now have that same conversation with those guys. And they said, no, I didn't say that about Dak. They doubted Dak all the way. And just the fact that nobody can really turn back and say, well, I was wrong. I was wrong about LVE. I was wrong about him. But you see how the things go. Somebody in the chat box says, Case Keenum threw us 4 interceptions today, and we have none of them. Yeah, he did. The Byron Jones, I can remember that one. He hit him on the hands, and my guy Xavier Woods. Those 2 of them. And I did like a real quick, a real quick film look at that. And I said, Case Keenum will give you some. He's no different than Kirk Cousins. And there goes to show you that he's no different than Kirk Cousins. All they did was rearrange the furniture on the Titanic. They going down regardless. So I like what I'm seeing from Dak Prescott, and I love what I'm seeing with these wide receiver core. We were saying all offseason that it's going to be a hard and difficult decision. Even the guys that we cut, like the Gaitans and the Worlds, and the other guy, I forgot his name, at the tip of my tongue. We had to get rid of those guys because they didn't show up in big games, but they were good on tape. They were good out there in training camp. But now, we're looking like, hey, we were right with this particular, offense, that these wide receivers are nice. They're looking good. John Vaya Johnson, yeah, that's his name. We had to let these guys go. Reggie Davis was lighting it up. But, as we look at this team now, we pulled some guys that showed up and showed out. Even Cedric Wilson, he caught the ball with the punt returns and the kickoff returns and stuff like that. He was a good guy to come in and help spell the other wide receivers. And we already knew what Devin Smith was able to do. Tig says, trade soft tacos. Man, that's what I want to eat today. I want to eat some tacos, man. Y'all mentioning tacos got me hungry now. Yes.
3 behind Dez Bryant.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just 3 touchdowns behind Dez.
70 touchdowns. He was on 69 after last week. Scored a touchdown last week.
So reliable.
Scored a touchdown this week. Now up to 70. Dez, the all-time Cowboys receiving touchdown record with 73. So 3 off the mark. A mark he will surely break this season.
Yes, I love that he is on pace for 16 touchdowns this year. It's going to be fun to watch.
The Cowboys beat the Washington Redskins 31-21, and most Cowboys were happy, but not every Dallas Cowboy was happy.
Who's not happy? Who's not happy? We got to be happy about this at least,
I'm damn sure not happy. Like Malik said, our standards is way higher, and we know what we got to accomplish out there, especially in fourth quarter. Nobody on supposed to score period at all 60 minutes. So fourth quarter is major, and we'll go back and look at the film and learn from it.
So we've been talking about defense, Choppy, and defense, and the defensive leader, DeMarcus Lawrence, not exactly happy with this team giving up touchdowns late. 21 points scored this week by Washington, 17 last week. The defense not up to the standard of last year's defense.
Well, I mean, look, last year's defense was I don't want to say a unicorn, but it was something that a lot of us didn't expect, and it was
not what we expected.
No, and it's not something that you can repeat. Defenses just don't do that like that. But I love the attitude from Tank, but remember, it is human nature to let the foot off the gas when you're up 31-14 or whatever it is, Doesn't matter what it is. Even last week when you're up, 35-10. It's just human nature. Those touchdowns at the end of games don't matter to teams. They matter to, sports books, but that's about it. Nobody else cares. When this team is up 31-10 or 31-14 or whatever, the last thing on my mind is a touchdown they give up with a handful of minutes left. I'm not thinking about that. Because I understand that, and I appreciate what DeMarcus is doing and what he's saying there, because he has a standard of excellence about him, but for the most part, those are going to happen, and those happen to the best of defenses. It's not something you can lose your mind about. Well, if you lose sleep over giving up a touchdown to make it 31-21 instead of 31-14, you got less things to worry about than I do.
Right. I mean, that's a good concern to have for your football team. And I guess the true concern would be if their defense gives up points next week.
Right.
When the Miami Dolphins come to town. The Dolphins lost to the Patriots today 43-0.
Okay, so
they've been outscored 102-10.
And the Patriots have outscored their opponents 76-3 on the year.
What's more impressive?
Jeez.
The Dolphins 102-10 or the Patriots What'd you say? 76-3?
What's
more impressive?
102-10 is far more impressive. To allow 102, they've really allowed 102 points in 2 games.
59 against the Ravens in Week 1 and 43 this past week.
Sheesh. To be averaging 51 points a game against is that's all time. That is all time bad.
If the Cowboys score their season average next week, 30-some points, It's going to be a miserable week for them.
Mind you,
wow,
the Dolphins head coach is in fact a defensive coordinator. I would expect Cliff Kingsbury to go to Arizona and be allowing 51 a game.
Right.
Because that's kind of par for the course for him. That's what he has done throughout his career at Texas Tech. But, 59 and 43.
Yeah. So the Cowboys offense, which has looked prolific by Cowboys' recent standards.
Man, all I can say is they would never bring up the fact that Tom Brady played against the Dolphins twice. They're just going to look at the greatness of Tom Brady.
It's that number for events here on the post-game show. Academy Sports and Outdoors, a store with top brands like Adidas, Shimano, Rawlings, and Columbia, all at guaranteed low prices like you've never seen. Visit us in-store or at academy.com. We'll hear what Zach Martin had to say after this victory. Devin Smith, a great game for Devin Smith. His first touchdown since November of 2015. Devin Smith, a 51-yard touchdown catch from Dak Prescott, his first multi-catch game since November of 2015, and a game certainly that he will remember, and a guy that, again, was sort of an afterthought with the people competing for that final roster spot for wide receivers. Came out of nowhere to get it, RJ Choppy, and now has a humongous game week 2 for the Cowboys here with a 51-yard touchdown catch at 74 yards overall.
It's a good play.
877-881-1053, 877-881-1053. Tolo JC is calling in from Plano. Go ahead, Tolo JC. You're in on the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Oh, what's up, guys? Hey, let me tell you, I work with 2 Redskins fans, okay? Yeah, I have to work with 2 Redskins fans and 1 Dak hater. So tomorrow, I'm walking into work, Dak first. Dak out so they can see it. Rub it in their face.
It's music to my ears, man. I love hearing something like that. Because you should. You should go out there and you should literally rub the Dak love right in their face. Because there's plenty of people who doubted him.
Right.
There's plenty of people who didn't want to ever root for him. That's the most disturbing thing is we've forgotten about the initial Dak Tony. There was infighting. There was fighting within the fan base. And that's something that should never happen. But it did happen, and it's part of the story. And it's part of what makes this Dak story so special, is that there was half the fan base who didn't even want him to exist. And now they're going to be cheering him for the next 5 years when the contract is signed, and then the next 5 years after that, because he's going to get another one. Because he's a 3-contract guy with this team.
I mean, the thing is, the Cowboys have had historically such good quarterback play that like Tony Romo or Danny White would be the best quarterback in the history of like 15 franchises in the NFL. Think about that.
Just go think of this thing. Just go think of this. In Cleveland, Bernie Kosar is revered.
Jay Cutler in Chicago holds all of their passing records. Just like Romo or even Danny White would be by far the best. So that is the problem here. The problem here is there's so many good quarterbacks in this franchise's history that Dak to this point has looked pedestrian by those standards. And yet here he is in 2 games, 11 incompletions total, 82% completion percentage, 674, 7 touchdowns, and 1 interception in 2 games. He's also added 9 carries for 81 yards. And Pam Oliver, who is the sideline reporter for Fox, told us before the game she was going to have some interesting comments from Dak Prescott during the game. And said during the game that Dak Prescott told her didn't care to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, didn't think that's where he was, and also thought that until he won a Super Bowl, he wouldn't want to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. That according to Pam Oliver during the game, which is interesting comments in light of ongoing extension talks of the Dallas Cowboys.
You know, you're spot on though with the Dak, Tony, Danny White thing. It's the way the organization is, and it's because the organization has been so strong. They've had a few blips, but that's about it.
Right.
You know, the quarterback play here has been solid, and Dak is continuing that. What Dak has done over these last 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of this season, has been nothing short of phenomenal. And if you're not happy about it, it's just because you don't want to be happy about it. If you don't think it's special, it's just because you don't want to think it's special, because it has been. That's it.
And yes, it's partly just different schematic changes to this offense. It's more modern concepts, more modern play calling. Last year, we talked ad nauseum about running 3rd and 1s or 4th and 1s out of a jumbo or goal line package where you bring everything in tight and you telegraph to the defense where you're going to run the ball. This week, we saw multiple 3rd and 1 opportunities for the Cowboys where even when they ran it a few times, they ran it out of what is traditionally a spread formation. So it's, these are concepts that work, that analytically are proven to work. So they're marrying Dak Prescott's skill set with better and more consistent play calling that is married and more in line with the type of player that he is. This is the Dallas Cowboys postgame show, 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053. Palmer is calling it from Georgia. Go ahead, Palmer. You're on the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Colson Palmer.
This has got to be the single greatest day of my life. I've never talked to RJ Choppy on the radio before.
Hi, bud.
What's up, man? Hey, Ari, when you win the Emmy for this particular show, you need to give RJ all the thanks. This is taking the show over the top. But what my question is this.
What happened to Jesse? Holly.
What do we have to do to get Jordan Lewis on the field instead of Anthony Brown? With that, I'll hang out. Great show, guys.
Appreciate the phone call, Palmer, and I will 100% give the Emmy, which they give for postgame radio.
They do give for postgame. Palmer's my boy. He got me onto a great golf course when I went down to the Masters.
Jordan
he's
Lewis.
a good dude.
Jordan Lewis is outplaying it. What's funny is Anthony Brown won the competition last year. Jordan Lewis wasn't very good. This year, you were at camp. Jordan Lewis was outplaying Anthony Brown throughout. He's been outplaying him in the preseason. And for some reason, we talked to Brian Broaddus, the pregame show, about this. For some reason, Anthony Brown, I guess, has a longer. Jordan Lewis has outplayed Anthony Brown to every degree, and yet he's playing behind him right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of things when it comes to personnel that teams do, and every team is guilty of this. Every team does this. Teams will put this guy in over that guy for whatever reason. This guy's in the doghouse for some stupid reason. This guy's in the lineup. He's batting 3rd, but he's not nearly the best. It's a very weird thing sometimes that coaches will do that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to the fan base. And I don't know that this is one that doesn't make sense to everybody, but there's certainly a reason to think and a cause to say, hey, look, this guy needs to get on the field more. And if the coaching staff says, well, he's not smart enough doing this, his progressions haven't been good, his film work, hey, look, they're far more in tune with it than I am. I don't know. I'm not in those meetings. I don't know what he's like. But the coaching staff seems to favor something else.
In NFL news, the Rams and Saints are playing an NFC Championship rematch in L.A. Drew Brees has left the game. His return is questionable as he was hit in his throwing hand finger. Teddy Bridgewater in at quarterback for the Saints. So it is a thumb injury. A thumb injury. His return is questionable. Drew Brees, return questionable, thumb injury, as the Rams lead 3-0 on the Saints. Teddy Bridgewater in a quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. That's just underway in L.A. Huge development there. All right.
Ooh, you just see the play. Yep.
With Aaron Donald.
Oh,
I just turned to it. Ooh.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah. Cowboys beat the Redskins 31-21. Offense has been prolific to start this season. We're taking your phone calls, your comments, 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053, plus Zach Martin, Devin Smith. We'll hear what they had to say.
Yeah, this game is kind of looking like boring to me. Saints versus Rams 3-0. I know that they just started, and the Chiefs went back down the field and scored. I would agree. Carr looked like he's trying to get the first down. Let's see what it happened. It looked like it's a turnover. Let's see what happened here. Like the ball bounced inbounds though. Let's see. I'm looking at this play. Carr looking like he believed he can fly type of deal. It looks like he jumped out of bounds and the ball landed out of bounds. So. But here's the thing. I don't know what people believe in when they see the tape of Anthony Brown versus Jordan Lewis. It's like we all can see with our eyes that Anthony Brown is a couple of steps behind Jordan Hip Pocket Lewis. And I would say this. I don't know what the Cowboys are trying to do. I don't think that the team should continue to play Anthony Brown over Jordan Lewis. You drafted Jordan Lewis at the 3rd round, I believe. I think Anthony Brown was more of a 5th or 6th round draft pick. I do know it's a contract year. We can see like some of the flaws in Anthony Brown, although it's late to believe that Anthony Brown is a better open field tackler than Jordan Lewis. But I would take the coverage ability of Jordan Lewis over Anthony Brown any day. Then I would just take the instincts ability. You got a playmaker out of Jordan Lewis opposed to the Anthony Brown argument. So I don't really get that picture. It's kind of like we have a Minkah Fitzpatrick and we're not starting him. You know, it's kind of like that almost to a degree. It just seems weird to me why the Cowboys, maybe Anthony Brown is related to somebody that's on that team as it relates to the defensive coaches. I don't know. Maybe they just don't like Jordan Lewis' temperament. It's so many things. There's so many variables with that. I just wish that they can just figure out a way to just put Jordan Lewis in the game. And I will be fine, not even to rotate Anthony Brown when my guy Donovan Wilson gets back. I just really believe that we have more playmakers than Anthony Brown. And there's no shade nor salt at Anthony Brown. Is he a decent guy out there on the field? Yes, but we don't want decency. We want somebody that can just really flip this thing over for us. Cobb is an upgrade over Beasley tremendously, yeah. Allen says, I agree, yes. Super Bowl or bust, Mr. B. I don't like to say that, but it's kind of getting that way. AB always burnt. Yeah, it's crazy. Brown is solid. Lewis is that guy, though. Mark, you're right. Brown, he's a solid guy, and I do know that you never want to lose a player for injuries or anything like that, but maybe the only way the Cowboys can see it, if that. And I'm not saying that we want Anthony Brown to get hurt or anything. Don't put that words in my mouth, but sometimes the organization just don't see it where we see it. And even through training camp, just like Ari said on the show, we've seen 27. I have yet to see number 30 do anything out there. But that's a story of a different day, man. It's just one of those things where it's when you're in the wheelhouse, you just figure out ways to allow that person to be on the field. It's like the coach's son or something, you know. You just find ways to say, let's give him more reps, you know. Maybe he'll get this, maybe get that. Anthony Brown may have a hell of a game next week. Anthony Brown might get 3 turnovers next week by himself. Who knows, right? But as far as from what I can see and for what other people see, we just don't see the production from Anthony Brown at that slot position.
Tickets in just a couple of taps. Best of all, listeners will get $20 off their first ticket purchase when they download the SeatGeek app. Use code BOYS at checkout. Let's go. Brad Sham joins us here from FedEx Field with RJ Choppy. I am Ari Temkin. And Brad, I mean, how can you talk about anything else but this offense?
Sham.
Dak Prescott has been amazing. 674 yards, 82% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns, 1 pick in 2 games played. Dak Prescott playing like a franchise quarterback through 2 weeks.
Yeah, he really is. And the thing that I would like to, I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but if I had, the one question I would have liked to have asked was what happened after the interception, which was one of those that was, you know, it's on him, but it's not on him. It wasn't a great throw. It was a little behind Cobb, but Cobb got a hand on it, so it's a deflected ball. But after that, he was almost literally perfect. I'm not sure if he missed a pass after that. And so he's seeing the field. His vision is good, which comes with confidence. And, you know, Ari, we've talked before about the improvement in his mechanics and his footwork, and his protection is good, and everybody's catching the ball for him. So, but it really does start with him. He is playing exactly like you said, like a franchise quarterback, which is why they're going to pay him that way whenever that happens.
Yeah, and that's what he is. He is a franchise quarterback. Does it also look like, I mean, when I'm seeing him throwing last year, maybe there was some indecisiveness that he is like just slinging it. Like he's got some velocity on this. It's almost like he's just firing this ball in there, and maybe his arm, I don't know if his arm got stronger or not, but it just seems to me that, you know, outside the accuracy, he's throwing it harder this year.
Yeah, RJ, I thought that back in the spring when I watched him in OTAs and we can watch one of the 3 days of OTA practice, and I think it was the second or third of the 4 OTAs, and I started asking questions about why is his accuracy better, and am I right that exactly what you just said, that is the velocity greater? And it's all part of the package. I think it goes into the mechanics, and I think it is certainly fueled by the confidence, but I think you're 100% right. I think that his accuracy and his velocity are improved, and that's why I've said from before they went to Oxnard that what I thought was going to happen was we were going to see the best Dak Prescott that we had ever seen, and so far that's what we've seen.
Based on what you've seen for 2 weeks, because the thought was this team runs through Zeke. Does it now run through the quarterback?
I think that
maybe too
I
soon.
think it might. I think the offense is going to be able to take what's available, but I think that they are now able to dictate it more. When they kind of got this band together, they tried to dictate power and tempo through the running game. And they're going to be able to do that even better now that they apparently can dictate tempo through the passing game. It's not just the quarterback. He's got some exceptional talent around him. I think they've got a really good group of receivers and tight ends. And we haven't even seen Pollard yet in the passing game. He got to run with it a little bit today. But I think there are things that Cobb, we've seen a little taste of Cobb, and we haven't seen Pollard yet. So I think as much as running through the quarterback, I think it runs through the offensive system. I really don't want to try to anoint Kellen Moore too early, but I think this is the system. And so I think that they can dictate with the passing game, and that's going to make the running game even better toward the end like it did today.
Cowboys win 31-21. We're talking about it with Brad Sham, voice of the Dallas Cowboys here on the Cowboys Radio Network. Brad, I know there are some that will be concerned about the defense. I'm not. Are you?
No. It's 2 games. And, they've got to play better. First of all, Robert Quinn's coming back next week, and that's a good player.
Good point.
And I think that, they had a chance for interception today. That's a big thing. They've got to hold on to those footballs. But I think this group is presently constituted, even without Quinn, has not yet played its best. And it's going to take them a little bit longer. But the signs are there, and there were certainly things. They got a couple of stops today that were really important. And Byron Jones, I thought, was like Byron Jones today. So I'm not concerned about the defense, but they do have to play better. But to be 2 games into a season and you've won them both by double digits, and I would say again, I think I said this last week, that if they gave up 17 points a game, they'd win way more than they lost. And I'd say the same thing about giving up 21 a game. I mean, I think it's fairly clear it's going to be an unusual day when this team's not able to score 21 or 24 points. And so you could probably give up 21 a game and win most of them, but you don't want to do that. But the league, the rules allow for such explosiveness now, and everybody's got good players. So you really have to be on the screws, and if you want to win in January and February, then you have to be able to play defense at a really high level. They have not played defense at a really high level yet, but I do think they will.
Brad, for 2 weeks, obviously 2-0, 2 great wins, 2 great offensive performances. Like you said, the defense good, but still, having a little bit of room left to grow. I know you love the word "should," but this is exactly where this team should have been after 2 weeks, though, right? Just when you see the schedule, you do like a 10,000-foot view of it, and I think most of us would have had them at 2-0. Like, this is where they should have been.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I would find, I would find a different way to say it than using the should word, but I would say it's what, frankly, I think was reasonable to expect them to do. And I had them, I think I had them 6-1 or something like that. And we'll see if that happens. First, they have to go 3-0. Now, if they don't go 3-0, we're going to have a real story. But
that's true.
But
that's right.
But But look, just when you say that, things happen in this league, and it's crazy. But I mean, I don't think you're wrong, RJ. I wouldn't use that word because it just supposes too many things. But I did think it was reasonable to expect them, if they were going to be who they thought they were, to win these first two games, and they have. So that's good. I think they're on track.
Yeah, Brad, the Dolphins lost 43-0, meaning they've been outscored so far in two games, 102-10.
Yeah, I know that just scares the willy out of me. It really does, because that's when you think that you can roll your helmet out there. And I mean, again, if I were one, if I'm going to play RJ's game, if I were one who used the word should, then I would say they should be dominant next week.
Yeah,
but suppose they win 27-17. How would you feel about that?
Win is a win, baby.
I mean, honestly,
I'll be mad a little bit.
I don't like to style point a lot of games in the NFL. I think we could style point that one. I don't like to style point road games, but that's a home game. But I do think we can style point it. I would not feel good going against up against New Orleans, but they may not have Drew Brees.
There you go. I'm as I think I said on the pregame show, I'm from the Herm Edwards school. You play to win the game. You have to play well enough week in and week out to be able to win all different kinds of games.
Yes.
And I think that it would be disappointing if they struggled next week. What it would do if they struggled next week would make us question what we think we're seeing. And they still have to prove that they are who they appear to be. But they do appear to be that. So, I would have to know how it happened. But if they won 27-17 next week, I would say, well, I was hoping for something a little more decisive than that. But in the last analysis, I'll take it.
Brad Sham, voice of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll talk to you next week, buddy. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Have a good week.
You as well. Brad Sham joining us. Cowboys beat the Redskins 31-21. Their opponent next week.
That's the voice of the Cowboys right there, Brad Sham. Really appreciate you all. Shout out to Francis, man. Washington, thank you for the donation to help grow the nation. He says, on the way to work, simply movers. Shout out to you and your job. Cowboy Nation, I want people to do this too. Don't give all of the praises to John Kitna and Kellen Moore. Dak Prescott got a lot to do with some of the things that we are doing and some of the things that we are seeing. So let's not just be all on, hey, Kellen Moore or hey, John Kitna. Look, Dak Prescott had a lot to do with this, because if not, we would have saw Cooper Rush doing the same thing. We would have saw Mike White doing the same thing. So let's spread the pie around as far as the ability to throw the ball with accuracy, with touch, and they're able to win and take over the game. So that's just what I'm saying, and that's just the reality of it. Dak Prescott is performing well. Kellen Moore, we love the spices that he's putting out there, because now that reveals that Dak Prescott all along needed a younger coordinator to help him out down the line. And of course, he had to work on his mechanics regardless of the situation and the scenario. We have to look at those things too. And John Kitna is doing a hell of a job of working on his footworks, ball placement, and things like that and beyond. So it's a collective workout agreement amongst everybody, So just don't look at it at all one side of the spectrum. And we are still early within this year. Not saying that you want to see Dak Prescott to fall, but what I'm saying is that he's still picking up what they want him to do, and they are still learning and understanding what Dak Prescott can do. You see, so it works all together. It's a perfect union almost. So let's see if they are still back at it. And Pat Mahomes, I'm looking at him. He's still putting the ball right on the money. And that's even with Tyreek Hill. So he's still Pat Mahomes. I thought he was unhuman for a second, but he's warming it up.
Linebacker and hit it.
Yes, indeed. They're still on commercial break. I'm gonna read some of you guys' comments here. Derek says, "What's up, Law Nation? Just leaving the game. Oh, you was at the game." Shout out to you, man. Let me know if you bumped into Mark Holmes and all those boys out there. Yes, indeed. Johnny, what's good with you? That's right. Dak is number one. Yes, true that. Could we see more of us going 13-3 this year? This is from Joe Nathan. Jonathan, one day at a time, one game at a time, week by week. That's what's on my mind. And I predict next week's score is going to be 28-13. That's just me. I'm going for the whole year 28-13, because the goal last year were for the Dallas Cowboys to score one more touchdown. One more touchdown a game, and we getting more than that because we average 21 to 22 touchdown, 21 to 22 points a game. So by us scoring one more touchdown would have put us in top 4, top 5 offense. Now you can argue and say that, baby, this offense looking like we going to be top 1, top 2, top 3. So we in that wheelhouse. We just got to stop the Patriots from playing against those teams that they putting up 40 and 50 points on. Teddy Bridgewater is in for the Saints. This is from Devon. Man. And it's looking crazy out there, Cowboy Nation. It is. Let's see if they're back on this thing. Let's see what they got from here.
For 50.
Still on commercial break. Really appreciate you all. Thank you all for tuning in to the nation. Free Minka. He's a beast. Yes, he is. Minka is a beast. He's one of those guys that you can say to yourself, man, the guy can shut down the interior as it relates to zones and also man-to-man defenses. I think that Minka would be a great asset to this team, especially when you got a guy that was picked in the first round on your team not even playing. This year, Taco is not even playing. And then if you add into the fact, just add this into it. Our first pick from this season, for this year, Tristan Hill, because we didn't have a pick because of the Amari Cooper trade. He's not even playing for the first 2 games. That's crazy. That's meaning that there's 2 draft picks, there's 2 development opportunities that we don't have the chance to see out there on the field. That's crazy. It is. Man, so it's crazy to me.
Football. Yeah.
For us to have those type of guys that's on our team and we don't get a chance to see them develop. Now, I would say Tristan Hill, maybe you'll see him next week because I think that Antoine is hurt and they're going to have to slide somebody else up. But it's perfect time to release somebody, and now you got Robert Quinn. So you still might not see Tristan Hill. You still might not see your boy, what's his name? Not Robert Quinn. Antoine Barbecue Woods, and you still might not see Taco because he might be traded at this point. That's crazy, huh? That's how this life is. That's how this life goes as well. Let me Brad Sham, calling a play right quick. It's crazy.
Please win, Cowboys.
Yeah. You said you turning Francis. What's up, man?
Susan G. Komen. Learn how the Dallas Cowboys and Susan G. Komen are fighting to end breast cancer. Visit Komen.org/IPromise. Drew Brees, if you're just joining us, his return to the game against the Rams is questionable with a hand injury.
We're almost back.
He took a hand to the thumb from Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald also limped to the locker room in that game.
We got right here.
Law, I'm turning my co-worker into a Dallas Cowboys fan. Give a shout out to Arnold from Simply Movers.
Shout out to Arnold from Simply Movers. Yeah, turn Arnold into one of those diehard Cowboys fans. Hey, it's possible. My wife is she's from Charger Land. She's from San Diego. And I had to work on her. And then all of a sudden you look up and she's wearing that silver and blue. Oh, got another donation to help grow the nation. Stellos. Yes.
Miami, y'all next. Wolfface.
Yes, Miami, y'all
I
next.
think Gallup was fine. They were just working
Uncle
other
Mickey
guys in, and how fortunate it was for Devin Smith to be in on that play when they finally got the look they were looking for on the deep post and catches that big pass, first NFL reception he had since 2016. So as we saw last week, the Cowboys keep having different people pop up and make contributions with this offense. And, boy, when you got guys like that can pop up, like Bill in here, Bill in there, one guy, you can't concentrate on one guy to stop this offense. And when Dak got on a roll, the Redskins had no answers for him.
Is this as complete of an offense as you've seen probably since the 2014 season?
Yeah, I think you're right, RJ. I mean, just the ability to run the ball, throw the ball to different people, not having to rely on Zeke for everything you do. If teams want to, load the box against the run, then go ahead and throw the ball. And when you got the receivers the Cowboys do, if you think about it, with Devin Smith showing up, 3 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown, and then you got your top 3 receivers end up with 15 catches for 136 yards, and you can be that versatile. And now this is 2 weeks in a row. So, last week it's like, okay, well, we saw it once. Let's see if there's a trend. And I think we're, 2 games in, you're seeing a trend. They're 2-0. And by the way, I was thinking, well, when's the last time they were 2-0? Well, they were 2-0 in 2015. And then, well, how about before that? Well, you had to go back to 2008. So this is only the second time in 11 seasons they started off 2-0.
Wow. And I'm not going to say what happened in either one of those 2 seasons, Nick, but they didn't make the playoffs.
Well, and guess what happened? What happened in each of them?
Yeah, Tony got hurt in both of them. He got hurt his thumb in the Arizona game in right in 08.
3 games, and they went 1-2. And then we know what happened in 2015.
Any concern about the defense? 1 sack this week against a Trent Williams-less Redskins offensive line, a sack last week. Any concern about what this defense is doing or not doing?
Well, here's the deal, and they did it again, right? They let, after they get up 21 points, they let the other team drive down. Last week it was 25 points.
True.
And they just boom, 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 drive down the field. Until that drive for that touchdown, the Redskins had 188 yards off.
True.
So I know they only had the 1 sack. I get it, and it's got to be better. They're just not getting enough of concerted pressure on the quarterback. But again, they had them to 10 points and 100 or 14 points and 188 yards into the fourth quarter. So they got to do a better job of closing. Can't let that happen. It's 2 weeks in a row. And I guarantee you, Marinelli wasn't happy about it last week, and I'll guarantee you he won't be happy about it again this week. So yeah, better pressure on the quarterbacks. But you know what?
Hold on, calling that defense, you got to be happy about it because you lined the dude up 10 yards off the ball.
So you can live with that. They did a better job against the run this week, so that was an improvement. So they get Robert Quinn back next week. From the sounds of things, he should be ready to go, at least his hand's ready. We'll see what kind of conditioning he has. And then, you add another pass rusher that you paid to get that guy. So they got to hope that he's ready to help out on that side.
When you're watching this offense, when they get into a groove and they start clicking, it really is machine-like. Is this to the point where it puts pressure on the other team because they know the Cowboys, they're going to score 3-4 times in a row now?
Oh yeah, and if you saw it, the Redskins realized, well, we better keep going for it on 4th down, right? It worked one time. The one time it didn't, they gave the Cowboys a short field and they came back and scored. So yeah, absolutely. A lot of times, what you do offensively certainly helps out your defense because they can't, play cozy offense. They know they got to score. They got to push it. You score 35 and then 31, you're sending a message out there to the rest of the league that you better not dilly-dally around on offense or you might get left behind. And then if you do get left behind, then what they do is they've turned to Zeke and let him salt the game away late, running the ball. So they give him time in the pocket. When they had trouble, what happened? The pocket broke down or they had penalties on that one possession when they got inside the 10-yard line and ended up kicking a field goal. But, other than the first couple of possessions to that possession, yeah, I mean, the pocket was clean and he's sitting down there just picking them apart. But the offensive line has to be doing something right when your quarterback completes 18 consecutive passes. That's the second longest streak in Cowboys history. And RJ, we have to go back to the 2015 and part of the 2016 season, I think, with Brandon Wheat, or 2015 season, I guess, with Brandon Wheat. He completed 21 straight at one point.
Yeah, but they were all 3 yards downfield.
yeah, right.
Mickey,
you got a point there.
Mickey, did the Cowboys make an adjustment with the O-line, or was it just that they started to block better? But it seems like certainly...
Yeah, I think they did a better job. Hey, Payne's a pretty good player now. It wasn't like it was just some schmuck getting pressure, and he was giving Connor Williams a little some problems there. And I don't know if they turned the protection towards him and started using Travis Frederick to maybe double him. But if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. There's a reason Zach Martin's an all-pro guy on the right side. Let him go on his own and help out Williams if you need help out. But they finally got it kind of settled down, and Dak actually took credit for the sack. He said he knew he was getting pressure, and he had a blind look where he was supposed to go with the ball, and he didn't trust it, and he held on to it. He said too long, and he caused the sack. But that's one sack in 2 games. If you can do 1 sack in 2 games, go ahead and do the math on that. I think you end up with 8 for the season. They had 56 last year. So it's not bad. It's not perfect. I get it. But it's not bad so far.
Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Thanks, Mickey. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, see you guys.
Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Cowboys beat the Redskins 31-21. 877-881-1053. You can call or text that number, 877-881-1053. Yeah, I mean, this team, whether they made the adjustment, Connor Williams is really getting beat up front by Deron Payne. The interior led to pressure. I mean, led to a missed throw by Dak that got intercepted. Timing was off that route. And then you had the sack, but there was some adjustment made that changed the dynamic of this game, got the ball out quicker, allowed the Cowboys to get back to what they did last week to make this a prolific offense. If you missed, Mickey Spagnola saying that Antoine Woods sprained his MCL. Well, it's a 2 to 4 week injury. They will reevaluate it when they get back to Dallas. Tyron Crawford re-aggravated a hip injury, but not concerning beyond what they already were concerned about. And Michael Gallup is also fine, a guy who left the game in this one for the Cowboys. So there you go. All right, coming up next, your phones, your texts.
All right, so I'm going to recap what all that they just said. Number 52 gave up pressure into the inside, and then on top of that, that's what had the collapsed the pocket and made Dak Prescott rush his throw, and the ball was a little bit behind Randall Cobb, which the ball was tipped up in the air, and then, of course, we already know what happened from there, INT. Now, on top of that, too, if we look at the collective picture of Antoine Barbecue Woods, for those who out there, he's got a sprained leg and sprained knee or something like that, so he's going to be out 3 to maybe 4 weeks, maybe 5, who knows. And then you got to do, when you are out for that amount of time, you got to do rehab work, and then you got to get back in football shape. So just like that, all what we did this offseason, that interior now is weakened in a sense. And football is all about depth purposes, and that's why we got those guys like the Tristan Hills of the world, right? Hopefully, we'll see a little bit more play out of Christian Covington, as well as when they bring in Robert Quinn back. And whenever I hate to say this, but whenever Randy Gregory fill out his paperwork, we have some more reassurance on that front four. Now, Tyrone Crawford, hip pointer, hip flexor, whatever you want to call it. He's the guy that got the sack for us, knocked him out of field goal range as well within the process. So I'm looking at everything from a grain of salt, but I'm also looking at everything like, hey, maybe, just maybe, they walk it back a little bit on trading Taco out of the building. That's just how it goes, Cowboy Nation. And that's the reality of it. And I hate to say that, but that's just the truth. Let's see if they're back, and I really appreciate you all.
It's like being...
Yeah, so let me see. Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, his price is going up. Yes, Ben, it's going up every single day, especially after these back-to-back performances. And then one can argue and say that when you play against the Dolphins, it may be a situation where it goes up even higher. So if Jerry Jones is right with everything, he'd probably be trying to look at that playbook and say, that paycheck, and be like, look, let's go ahead and pull that pen out. And that's just how it goes. Jerry should go after Patrick Peterson. Ben, he's out for a minute, right? Ben, Patrick Peterson is out for PED or something like that for a good little spell. And that's just how it goes. Jerry should, man, our D-line was fire last year. It's crazy now. Corey, it's still early. It's still early. Just give it a little bit more time. Hopefully, and I mean just that, they can figure out something. Yeah, Jay Jones said he is suspended. You're right on the money for 8 games. That's a long time. I wouldn't give up many resources. I think the last time they put Patrick Peterson on their trading blocks, they wanted a second and a third or something like that for Patrick Peterson. I wouldn't give up that many resources for him. I won't. I will not do it. I refuse to do it. I refuse to do that. Any updates on Connor? He still have the pectoral issue.
Matters.
And that pectoral issue is not going anywhere anytime soon. And especially if you're just going to put McGovernor out there who haven't played any preseason game, didn't really see anything as far as training camp. It's just like an unknown commodity at this point, Plus he is 30. Who's 30? Who's 30? You talking about Tyron Crawford? Is he 30 years old? Oh, you talking about Patrick Peterson? Yeah, he is up there long in the tooth. I miss pothead David Irvin. This is from Slum. Maybe we can give him a call back. Maybe they won't suspend him and they'll say, okay, we give him a call back. I'm just playing with y'all. David Irvin gone. He may come back.
It's license plate.
Yes, indeed. Hey, is Michael Gallup okay? According to what they are saying, Michael Gallup is okay. He's fantastic. He's okay. It looks like we got an injured player down on the mat for 2019 Oakland Raiders. Looks like number 17 is down. It looks like the guy that used to play for us. Is that the Harrison? No, it's somebody else. What's wrong with Gallup? Coop 19. I think he's okay. Just had a little bruising going on, but I think he's okay.
Or visit us.
I think he's okay. I don't think any major issues with if they would have said it by now. If we trade Taco for anybody, might need a quality defensive tackle. Let's consider that. This is from Tube 36. Yeah, I mean we need some still help in the inside. We still need some help inside. Can Taco play inside? No, he can't play inside as much. He don't have the strength that we're looking for to play inside. He don't have that. Yeah, it sounded like a home game. Heat 2016. We had a lot of silver and blue in the stands. We did. We had a lot of silver and blue in the stands out there. Yes, they're almost finished for their commercial break, and we're going to see if we can continue to go for a few more minutes here. Let's continue to grind, Cowboy Nation. I really appreciate you guys for this post-game sports for sure. And Tony Pollard, he did a good job too coming into the mix. We didn't have a lot for his series because the Washington team was working the field, but I like what I was able to see for the sample size with Tony Pollard. I do like all of that.
Texas, that drive.
Oh man, Pat Mahomes dropping all kinds of dimes out there. My goodness.
Got back into.
Yes.
And then the Cowboys again extend 31-14 back up to 17.
All kinds of guys.
And that beyond the 7 more that the Redskins would tack on would pretty much do it. Cowboys beat the Redskins 31-21. Ari Temkin, RJ Choppy. This is the Dallas Cowboys post-game show. Now here is what Dak Prescott said after the game, after this great performance by Dak Prescott. Back-to-back weeks, he's completing 82% of his passes in 2 weeks, 674 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 pick. Josh Dorman, after last week's 405 yards passing, had some unkind things to say about Dak Prescott. Here's how Dak responded to those comments in the post-game press conference.
Yeah, sure, I heard it, but no, I'm not going to allow him to be a motivation to me. I've got enough things that motivate me. They get me going. What somebody says, good or bad about me, definitely isn't the case, especially when he's not on this team. So,
well, according to our own Troy Hughes, the post-game press conference for Josh Norman, he said that his comments were taken from Dak Prescott out of context and said, quote, "Spoiled rotten apples that come from hell. That's the whole reason why athletes, entertainers don't want to expletive with you guys," end quote.
Spoiled rotten apples
that come from H-E-double.
Now, are they Granny Smith? That's what I want to know. That's my favorite kind of apple.
It's the whole reason why athletes, entertainers don't want to bleep with you guys, end quote.
I mean,
he mad now.
Sure, man. I mean, knock yourself out with that one. I mean, you talked, and you are not the player that can talk and back it up anymore. You just aren't. And that's cool. I mean, you made a nice career. You made a lot of money. You took the money and left. That's cool. Yeah. Look, it's all good. You can talk all you want. But if you're going to talk, don't blame it on somebody else,
right?
Other than yourself.
He said it. Anybody can do that.
Josh Norman talked.
Anybody can do that.
He flat out talked.
Yeah.
And he cannot back it up anymore. And now he's trying to backstep and crawfish, as we like to say.
And
say, I didn't really say that.
Right.
But you did kind of really say that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You can talk all you want, and we're just going to listen, and we'll make fun of you.
Right.
Jalen Ramsey last year had nothing to say post-game for Jacksonville when the Cowboys tore them apart. He dipped out of the media.
He got no fight today on the sideline with his own coach, with Doug Marrone.
This time, Josh Norman goes after the media for his comments.
Go,
Cowboys win 31-21. Fantasy football update brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 50% or more on car insurance. The fantasy football numbers look good for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, 26 of 30, 269 and 3 touchdowns. Did have a pick, did take a sack, a quarterback rating of 123.5. So far cry from the perfect 158 last week. Also added, Dak did 5 for 69 on the ground and had a huge carry.
It's like a 40-yard run.
40-yard run on a 3rd and 1. Devin Smith, 3 receptions, 74 yards, and a touchdown. First touchdown in an NFL game for Devin Smith since 2015. And Devin Smith caught up with our own Mike Fisher after the game.
Did you know you were in the game plan this way, or is it just kind of
I knew that I knew I would have an opportunity. So just whenever, it's kind of just how it's been, just with this whole process. Whatever opportunity I get, try to take full advantage of. And they brought me in, and they called the play, and I just had to execute.
After what you've been through with the Jets and a second-round pick and all that, is how much of there is? I want to show people. I want to prove things to people.
It's not really me trying to prove to people, because I know my ability, and all my teammates, they know my ability. So that's the only thing that matters to me. And so every opportunity I get to showcase my skill, I'm here for it.
When Amari this week said we have so many weapons that we're a nightmare for our defense, were we supposed to know that he meant you too?
Yeah, all of us wide receivers, man. We coming out here to really help this offense really take strides. And so when he said that last week, he really meant everybody in our room.
Yeah, and like RJ with Dak Prescott, he's moving the ball around. You look at the
spreading it.
Diversity of touchdown receptions last week. Same thing this week. Devin Smith caught one. Amari Cooper caught one. Jason Witten this week. Cooper and Witten now both 2 touchdowns on the season. Gallup 6 for 68. I mean, you had 26 receptions being doled out to 8 different targets.
Yeah, when this game first started, it seemed like they were still relying on giving it to Zeke a lot. And as the game wore on, it was like, okay, they're just gonna do whatever. They're just gonna go with. They're not forcing it to anybody. Matt Stafford got into trouble forcing it to Calvin Johnson.
He did.
Teams get into trouble an awful lot when they try to force it to a certain player. In all sports, you're forcing this guy in basketball. You're forced to put this guy in the lineup because you're paying him. No, just whoever's open. Right. And that's when this team is at its best. That's when they started to be at their best today. For Dak to be spreading around so much and not key on one guy. He keyed on Dez a lot in the red zone. Don't key on Jason Witten. Yeah. Don't key on Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper or Devin Smith. Key on the open man. It's pretty simple. And they did it.
877-881-1053. 877-881-1053. You can call or text that number, 877-881-1053, to get in on the postgame. You mentioned this to Brad Sham, RJ. You said this is a team that was built around Zeke. When Zeke was holding out throughout training camp, in the preseason, everybody kept saying they need to get Zeke here. It's a team that's built around.
Hold on. Shout out to my guy, man, that's in the chat box, man. Ben Israel, man. He says, hey, Anthony Brown is better than Josh Norman. Hey, man, you the real MVP for that comment, man. Hey, I agree. Hey, he's better than Josh Norman, man. What if I told you that Josh Norman can't hold a candle to my guy, Anthony Brown? Whoa. Pump the brakes. Yeah. Hey, that was a cold-blooded comment, man. I had to shout you out for that, man. That's cold-blooded, man. That is what I'm talking about right there. He is better than Josh Norman.
And that's when they got to a position where this game was over.
Chiefs about to roll over
at that point,
Raiders.
when they were able to score again. Because, they milked it, but then they said it's not going to work. We're going to take a chance. And you could take chances. Do it what got you there. Thank God they don't do it in the third quarter anymore. Okay, I'll take it. They're waiting 8-9 minutes to go. Maybe next week it's 4. Who knows? With Miami, you never know. I mean, you can start milking it at the end of the first quarter if you wanted to.
Yeah, Miami lost again 43-0 today. They've given up 102 points in 2 games. That is how many if you count the counting numbers, RJ?
102 points. That's 51 a game.
51 a game, according to those counting numbers. RJ Choppy, Ari Temkin, Dallas Cowboys postgame. Your phone calls, your thoughts, plus we'll hear from Zach Martin. All on the way. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Hey, I can't wait to hear Zach Martin, the Glob. My thing is, we was talking about earlier this year, Carl Joseph traded for like Lyle Collins, and Carl Joseph just got his lunch handed to him, like taken away from him, actually, by Travis Kelce, however you say that man's name. He took him over across it on like a wheel route, looks like to me. And Tony Romo is calling the game. I'm watching the Raiders versus the Chiefs game, and Tony Romo doing a fantastic job as well. Hey, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And Carl Joseph, that's a guy that I'm glad that we didn't try to trade for, because we'd have had some issues at that right tackle. And then on top of that, you'd have been seeing Carl Joseph getting burnt like toast. Y'all remember that article? It's like trade for Carl Joseph, get Lyle Collins up out of here for Carl Joseph. And when I'm seeing Carl Joseph looking like a lost puppy out there, and Mahomes is just lighting it up. He just caught wind all of a sudden. He's just throwing this thing like it's nothing. Let me see what's the score on the Saints game, because we played the Saints this year, and we still got to really look. We play both the teams, Saints and the Rams, so we still got to really look into them. I think we play the Rams this year, do we? Right? Do we play the Rams again this year? Let me know. We got to look at those two teams, and we got to figure out how we can defeat them. And that's the bottom line. We got to make sure that we can play up to their level, or they can play up to ours. And the scores right now is 3-3. Yeah. All right. Appreciate you all, man. You guys are the real MVP, man. Keeping me up to date with the score. And I'm tuning back into the Raiders game and Chiefs.
Autograph set.
And they pinned their ears back now. And that defensive front four looking good for the Chiefs. They got a sack on Carr. Yeah. We played the Rams this year. Wait, what? When do we play the Rams? What week? Because I'm looking at it only by week. I'm not looking at the full schedule. Breeze is out. If it's his thumb, that thumb is something special when you're throwing a football, and especially if it's his throwing hand. Fumble, pickup. Oh man, they finna roll over these. The Chiefs finna roll over. Your thumb is important because that's how you grip the ball. And remember, Stellos, he said, yeah, we do play him. Remember that thumb is where you grip the ball. Remember Tony Romo broke his pinky. He couldn't really get that grip on the ball like he wanted to. So the hands are important in football, believe it or not. Wanza says he's out. Oh wow. Shout out to Breeze, man. I hope he can fight and come back.
I recommend the best.
But we'll play against Teddy Bridgewater, and we'll play against Tyson Hill. I think that's how you say his name as well. We'll see what we can do against them. But I want all of the Saints fans to still keep that energy, though. Don't be trying to use the fact because they say, wait till you go down to New Orleans. Wait till you. Well, look, we waiting. I want you all to keep the same energy. Because remember, anybody that talk about injuries, they didn't hold back when we had our players to get injured. They were still talking about, how about them Cowboys? And I can guarantee you all that's in the chat box and beyond, nobody called you all today, right? But if we were to lose, everybody would be like, how about them Cowboys? We would have heard all over the world people been calling you. But see, my phone been sitting here and nobody called me today. They didn't even tell me congratulations today. How about that? But when we lose, all of a sudden, people know my phone number. People give me a call and these sorts of things. That's crazy how this world works, right? You got all of the Cowboys haters. They know our number when we lose, but they forget our number when we win. Ain't that crazy? Don't you guys go through the same like patterns? Don't you guys go through the same weeks of going through that situation? And that's even when we had broken down players that wasn't injured, that couldn't perform at top levels. That's even when we had the suspensions and things like that. But now nobody giving us a call. Yeah. DJ Cobb says, facts, law. Yes. I'm still waiting on the call. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. It's flat out crazy. We played them week 15. Okay. Appreciate you for the information for the nation. So we'll be ready for the Rams week 15 as well.
Down.
And we'll be ready for Saints whenever we play them. When we play the Saints again? Not this week, but the next week or the next week after next week after next week. I want all the Rams smoke. Yeah. Saints week 4. Rams week 15. Appreciate you, Stellos. Appreciate you. And thank you for the donation to help grow this nation, baby. Really appreciate you.
The menu of
Lawrence Jackson says, LJ says what? How about them Cowboys? Yes. Don't nobody say that when we win, though. They don't call our number when we win. That's funny, though. That's funny to me, man. It's really flat out funny to me. No memes, everybody quiet, and then they go back to saying, oh, they only played the Giants and they only played the Washington team. But if we were to lose to them, it's not only the Giants, it's not only the Washington team. That's crazy.
First,
and it's so quiet now. It's crazy to me. Ooh wee. That Pat Mahomes is something special, man. Sheesh. God. Oh, he just threw another dime. And it was a contested catch. The receiver did most of that. But Kansas City Chiefs, he's 18 for 26, 313 yards with 4 touchdowns. And this is only the first half.
Champion RJ Choppy with you.
He might have a 10 touchdown game. Oh, man, he burnt that guy like toast. Back shoulder fade. Only the receiver can catch that ball. And Connolly, no good in the way he got to get his head around. That's why it's good to play the hands.
.org. We'll hear from Zach Martin in a moment. Mickey Spagnola from DallasCowboys.com told us, RJ, that Antoine Woods has a MCL sprain. It's a 2 to 4 week injury. They'll know more about it, though, when they get back. And if you saw it live, it certainly looked worse.
Yeah, it did. It definitely looked worse
than an MCL sprain. He got rolled up from behind by Malik Collins. So if it's just an MCL sprain, it's just a month injury at most. That's a pretty good break for the Dallas Cowboys. 877-881-1053. You can call or text that number. Scott is hanging on in Jersey. Go ahead, Scott. You're on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Oh, man, tonight was a great win. Cowboy Nation's always good. Just a couple of things I want to point out. Our offense now is exciting. It's not just a run. It's exciting. We throw it. We go downfield. And we're getting touchdowns, and we're not getting field goals. And I think that is going to win us at least a championship and not just get us into the playoffs. Thanks for taking my call, and I'll see you guys later.
Appreciate the phone call, Scott. Scott is 100% correct. Touchdowns.
Touchdowns win. Yeah, you settle for field goals, you're screwed. Put your defense in an unfair position. This team settled for field goals an awful lot over the last couple of years. They just did. They will, at the start of the year, I was not ready to say they were a title contender. I was like, this is a playoff contender.
Right, we had to see the offense.
They're 100% to me a playoff team, but I didn't think at the time that they were a legitimate championship contender. That was still reserved for the Saints and the Rams.
Keep pushing.
I don't know
stick back.
What to make of the first 2 weeks, because let's face it, they probably did face 2 of the 5 worst teams in the NFC. Right?
Yeah.
At least we know one of them is going to be the Giants in the NFC.
Right.
But they whooped them. All right. And they did exactly what you do to bad teams. We have no idea what the Rams and the Saints are going to be in, 18 weeks when it gets time for the end.
Let me just put the narrative back in place. When the Eagles faced the Washington team last week, there was nobody on this earth saying, well, the Washington team is one of the worst teams in the NFL. They were saying that, hey, the Eagles dominated and came back to beat the Washington team. So now what we're going to hear now that the Washington team is horrible. They trash. They no good. They was up 17-0 on the Eagles. They was good. They was great. They was looking like they was the best team in the NFC East. And then all of a sudden the Washington team lost, and they were saying like, well, the mighty Eagles came back to defeat the Washington Redskins. They are the best roster in the NFL. They this and that. So now the Cowboys roll up to FedEx Field or Landover, Maryland Stadium, and we showed them who the Dallas Cowboys are. And now all of a sudden, the Cowboys played a horrible Giants team, or the Cowboys played a horrible Washington team, and now the Cowboys heading into Miami, Miami going to head into Cowboys land, and now that's going to be another horrible team. We get this narrative all the time, Cowboy Nation. We do. And it's like a song that never ends. And it's always something. And now when we beat the Miami Dolphins, I'm not looking ahead of the schedule, but then they would say, well, that's a horrible team. But nobody ever brings up the fact that Tom Brady played that team twice out of a year. They played the Bills twice out of a year. They played the Jets twice out of a year. They just say Tom Brady is the GOAT. And then on top of that, he got the Super Bowl rings. I can't throw any shade nor salt at that. But then when we play the Saints, they didn't have a Drew Brees. All this stuff, I'm looking headed to the narrative, and they're going to say, well, the Dallas Cowboys 5-0 or 6-0 by mistake. They haven't played a proven team. We're going to hear this all throughout the year. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. We don't play a proven team unless they beat us, right? So when they beat us, they're a proven team. But when we beat them, there's an unproven team. That just gets on my nerves a little bit. That's why I say we got to get to the playoff. We got to win the playoff games and win this Super Bowl so they can get the big D out of their mouths.
Early touchdowns late in the fourth quarter going to carry over to the end of the season. You can't allow that to happen.
Appreciate the phone call, Mel.
I don't know that they do. I think a lot of those touchdowns are given up later because they're not trying anymore. If it's a dogfight, 4-point game, and they've got Brady on the other side or Rodgers or Mahomes, I don't think they're going to have the same mindset. That said, they're not going to be able to stop Brady or Mahomes with down 4 because nobody stops Brady or Mahomes when they're down 4. That's why they're where they are in the NFL. That's why they were in the conference championship. That's why the Patriots were in the Super Bowl every year, because when they're down 4 with a minute and a half to go, they find a way to score a touchdown. So I don't know that the defensive carryover has anything to do with it. I don't think them allowing late touchdowns to the Redskins and the Giants is going to play into, a tight game against, whoever it is at all, because it's a different situation and your want to level, your give a what level is different in a 4-point game than a 14 or 20-point game.
Look, all I'll say, and I understand the concern for the defense because there has to be a concern over something we've seen in 2 weeks, and certainly the defense could be it. But ultimately, look at the way the Patriots just won a Super Bowl. And normally you say that, you're like, yeah, they do that. They've done that for 2 decades. But look at last year. They had to outscore the best, highest-scoring offense in the NFL last year in their building in the AFC Championship game, and then had to win a low-scoring affair in the Super Bowl. That's how you have to build your offense. To be able to win games, you're going to have to outscore some of the best offenses in the NFL while simultaneously being able to run the ball effectively and win the low-scoring, grind-you-down kind of games. The difference was the Cowboys could only win the latter last year. When they went down and the Rams scored 30 points in that game, it was over.
The magic number for last year was really 26. Right. You got 26, 27. It was over. Yeah, it was over.
Now this is an offense built to win those games. Will they always win them? No, you do. You do need to get stops for your defense, of course. Yep. You do need to get stops for your defense. But so far, the defense hasn't given up enough points to where you're like, yeah, they're going to be outscoring some of these games. 21, 17, these are numbers they should be able to overcome.
True.
Period.
All right.
Zach Martin, part of that offensive line, which has been able to keep Dak Prescott upright for the first 2 games. Only 1 sack on Dak. He was second in the NFL last year in sacks taken. Here is Zach Martin visiting with our own Mike Fisher after the game.
With Zach Martin after a Cowboys go 2-0 victory at Washington. Speaking of victories, you guys got to do the victory formation.
Yeah.
And I sensed there was a little secret dance inside there by a 330-pound dancer, right?
Who's 330?
How much do you weigh?
Damn, 330?
How much do you weigh?
Like 310.
Well, I'm projecting. All right, 310. 310.
Yeah, no, it's best playing ball, obviously. Victory formation, and take a lot of pride in getting that last first down to be able to do that and keep our defense on the sideline.
It's hard to imagine a 330-pound body.
Like, damn, I don't know. Everybody 330.
Is there some point here where between the way Zeke runs and maybe the way Dak runs too, and your offensive line plays, that you start to take the will away from the other team?
Yeah, I mean, I think we get better as the game goes on. I think early on, that's kind of our game plan as the game goes on. Those 2, 3, 4-yard runs turn into 10, 15. At the end, they're 20-yard runs. So, like chopping a tree, by the end, it's going to fall.
Thanks. I'll never guess at your weight again. There's Zach Martin with 330. I don't know.
He got burned on that.
Overestimating the weight of Zach Martin there.
Wow.
I don't think Fish will ever forget how much Zach Martin weighs.
Never guess the weight of somebody else. It's really a horrible idea.
All right.
Really, really bad. Guessing age, probably not the best one either.
Right.
Throwing that one out there.
Yeah, that wasn't a good look for my guy Mike Fisher. But shout out to Mike Fisher for manning it up and answering the question. So 49ers won 41-17. Okay. They 2-0 started off the season, and Detroit wins 13-10. That's a good little deal for them. All right, so Texans pull off a victory, 13-12. Oh, wow, what a dogfight of a game. Really appreciate you all. Thank you all for tuning in. We've been doing the stream long enough. I got to go out and find me something to eat. I really appreciate you all. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content. Let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Just enjoy this victory. 24 hours, sit back and enjoy. Love the fact that we won. Don't try to be so cynical and critical of the team. Just sit back and enjoy. And we will try to figure out things that we can do to improve for next week. Yeah, we have to play the schedule that's ahead of us. Yes, I agree. We can't look at it like, okay, this team is this team is that. But what I'm saying is collectively, we don't get the praises for when we do the things that we needed to do. And really appreciate you, Stellos, man. Really do, man. What he says here.
Is the fan a covert bandwagon KC Chiefs and Nay Patriots show? I'm confused thinking face.
Yeah. 105.3 The Fans, a converted bandwagon KC and New England Patriots show. I'm confused. I don't know. Maybe 105.3 The Fan. I don't know if they said any praises to the Chiefs or what have you. What I'm saying, it's a good game. Chiefs versus the what you call that? The Raiders. Good game. The Raiders are losing, but I really appreciate Stellos. Thank you always for supporting this channel. The Patriots won 43-0, so we faced that team. Now it's time to step on the throats of the Dolphins. Don't go in there saying, okay, it's a layup for us. We got to show the world that we are for what we are. We are a real team. Saquon Barkley and the versus the New York Buffalo Bills, they lost 28-14, and that's crazy. Bills put up some money against them, right? And there goes to show you that, I guess the Giants are horrible, right? But Saquon Barkley got his 100 yards, and that's just what it is. AB, what he's for, 8 targets, 4 receptions for 56 yards, a touchdown, and 5 yards for running. All right, not bad at all, Cowboy Nation. Let's continue to grow, Cowboy Nation. Let's get on out of here. Really appreciate you all. Thank you all for sharing this content. Thank you all for subscribing and beyond. Let's go. Let's get this thing going. The bufferings won't quit buffering. Well, I better get on out the door then. So hopefully you guys smash that like button and share. Let's go. Yeah. Celebrate time. Celebration. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Victory Monday. Don't it feel good to have a Victory Monday? Don't it feel great to be in your seat and being able to now to stand up, walk into the office real proud? Yeah. I got to give you guys a word before I go. We got to give you something, right? They say a prize fighter continue to swing his blows even when he's down. When the weight of the world is on his shoulder, when everybody is talking down upon him, he still continues to shake it off and stand on top of it. Cowboy Nation, it's regardless of what your friends say, it's regardless of what your mama say, and regardless of what Skip A, right? Stephen A, or Skip Bayless, or even Shannon Sharp, or even Jason Whitlock. Anybody that's out there that's hating on the Dallas Cowboys, you can look them in the eyes now and say, hey, we are 2-0. We are not folding up like lawn chairs. We got this thing, and we got the power and the momentum to get this thing going. All we got to do is still can take this thing one day at a time, one movement at a time, and we got this mindset that we're going to rip through you all because we are the best. We own the East, and we represent it all the way out the West because that's where Texas is at, and we are all the best because we are the beast, and we will come after you all. This is what Cowboy Nation is all about, representing that silver and blue. If you cut us, we bleed silver and blue, and we're going to get this thing going, baby. Yes, all day, every day. Don't forget to put down where you all are from. We the only nation that can say this. Man, I'm from Natchez, Mississippi. Population of 25 to 26,000. Ain't that something? And I'm talking to y'all lovely people today. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Yes, let's go. Oh, Stellos. Yes, Ezekiel 25-17. Yes, let's go. San Diego in the house. Tulsa, D.C. That's what I'm talking about. Arlington down the street from us. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Shout out to Cedar Hill, DeSoto, Oak Cliff in the house, Wheatland, Walmart, all those places. Shout out to Ocean Water. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil man. But blessed is he that is in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly thy brother's keeper and founder of lost souls. And I will strike down upon thee with great vision and furious anger those attempting to poison and destroy my brother Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, let's go, Cowboys. H-Town, get down. Plano in the house. Devon, what's up, man? Shout out to you. Was it West Laco, Texas? What's up? Cedar Hill and them thing? What's good with you? Yes, who else? Kentucky. That's what I'm talking about. Who else from here? Winslow, Arizona. That's what I'm talking about. Norfolk, VA. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Remember, this chess, not checkers. Checkmate, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. I need to see some fire before I go. I got to see some fire, baby. I got to see some fire in the chat box. I'm not leaving till I see that fire in the chat box. Let's go. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Lubbock, Texas, what's up, baby? Ohio, 361. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Yes. Yes, what I'm talking about. I see it, baby. I see it now. Yeah. You sit down, get up out your seat. Let's go and yell out to the next person. How about the Cowboys? Let's go. Yeah, you don't have to go to church this Sunday. You got church right here. We preaching the gospel right here. Dallas Cowboys. Let's go. Let's get crunk. Nobody can stop us, baby. We going all the way. Let's get those 6 rings, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And remember, you all are listening to Absolutely. Hey. Nothing but the Bears. I promise you, when you see that Dak Prescott hater, oh my goodness. When you see that Dak Prescott hater, say, how about that Dak? Woo! I promise you. When you see that Cowboy hater, when you see that Cowboy hater, I want you to look them straight in the eyes and say, how about them Cowboys. Hey, when you see that Redskin fan that was talking all that cash money, you look that Redskin fan in his eyes and say, hey, where that energy at? You keep that same energy. Let's go, Cowboy Nation.
This is Sparta!
I'm out for real now, baby. Love y'all. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the